ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Welcome in. It is Hoist the Colors. It is June 1st. We start a new week and a new month. The ECU baseball season, unfortunately, over. It was a fun ride, especially these last 3 weeks, and overall a fun weekend that comes to a somber end in Chapel Hill. North Carolina wins the Chapel Hill Regional. They sweep it, beat ECU twice after beating VCU. You had the 14-inning classic to start off the regional between ECU and Tennessee. Pirates prevail there, get to the winner's bracket game, but ultimately fall to the Tar Heels twice in a row. Hard-fought game Saturday, ran out of gas Sunday, and a lot to get to. And comment section, as always, open on YouTube, Facebook, X. If you got something to say on the season, on the regional, drop it there. We'll be reading a lot of comments today. Our plan is for segments 1 and 2 to really focus on the regional, kind of talk about the games we saw, the impact of certain moments, some standout performances, all that good stuff. And then segments 3 and 4, more of a post-mortem on the season as a whole. So that's our plan. Drop your comments. I'll do my best to decipher which comment fits where, but always a tough time when an ECU baseball season comes to an end. I kind of wrote this on the Hoist the Colors message boards. It's, obviously college sports these days, there is no real offseason at all. But the college baseball season, when your team makes that final out, it is kind of that finality feeling of the college sports calendar. And we've reached that with ECU falling to the Tar Heels, which move on to face either Texas A&M or USC in the Chapel Hill Super Regional. We're joined today by Philip Pilkington. He's back in 94.3 The Game studios. Philip, he was driving back and forth from Greenville, North Carolina to Chapel Hill, which, look, is not the farthest drive in the world, but when you're doing it 3 days in a row, it can wear on you. So, Philip, we were hoping to get a Game 7 today with the Pirates forcing one, but here we are. We're sitting here recapping the season, the regional, and had a good weekend overall, though, in Chapel Hill. I will say we'll get into some of the specifics of the hospitality, but overall, a fun weekend, man.
It was. It was good to see the Pirates playing postseason baseball. It was good to be able to attend, and, yeah, I'm tired. Now, to be fair, I did some of this to myself because I stayed up for the whole NASCAR race last night, which due to weather didn't end until almost 1 a.m., so that's partially on me. However, it was a long weekend, and I'm tired.
I feel you, man. And we were talking pre-show, like, even though obviously we're not playing in the games, and it's nothing like being a player or a coach or even a fan sitting in the heat, like we had some pretty shaded seats. So kudos to the fans who were in the heat all weekend and to you who were driving back and forth and paying the money to get in. But, like, there's nothing like postseason baseball where every pitch matters. And, I mean, you invest so much energy into every single second of the game. It almost feels like you're out there playing when you're watching. So, like, that on top of obviously the travel, and then obviously we're working too. You're doing stuff for social media. I'm writing post game. We're writing throughout the game, doing updates. So it's a lot of fun, and you go more so off adrenaline when you're covering the games. But then once the game's over, you're like, man, I feel like you just got smacked by a car.
You do, and like you said too, it's the every pitch weighing on you, especially Friday when you're in that first game. You don't want to go to loser's bracket. It's 14 innings. I did a radio show right after. Didn't even get to go to the press conference Friday. Had to do PJ's show. Shout out to you, to Kaysen, to Reed, and of course to Dylan Johnson, who had already talked for about 5 hours for coming on the Patrick Johnson show with me. So I do appreciate it. You guys made my job a little easier, but yeah, it's just like you said. It's the weigh-in on every pitch is the big thing. You're so emotionally invested. You're on the edge of your seat, and it does take it out of you. It's tough to do regular season, to sit through all those games, but at least like there's a tomorrow. You're not sitting there constantly trying to figure out what pitcher's coming in next because at the end of the day, you're just ready to move on. But when it's postseason, it's different. And also, I mean, we're up and down the stairs, and the hospitality tent was great. We're going to talk about it. It was a long ways away. And then up and down out of the press room that they had there, which was really nice, by the way. A little too close to Carolina's locker room. Unfortunately, our players had to kind of listen to them celebrate. That wasn't great. But we'll get into that stuff later, too.
Yeah, welcome to the jungle, fittingly playing during ECU's press conference from the Carolina locker room. So that was kind of tough to hear. But
yeah, one of the Carolina writers told me
yeah.
they did when they beat West Virginia a few years ago to go to Omaha. They were playing Country Roads in their locker room, like the West Virginia players are in there and having to listen to it.
It's tough. I mean, hey, to the victors go the spoils. So I mean, it's tough, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. And congrats to Carolina, great baseball team, and got it done. All right, let's kind of go game by game here, and we'll kind of approach it this way. Argue Ready says Friday's game was a game for the ages, great game to attend. It was a great atmosphere along with all the highs and lows. And yeah, so we'll focus on the 14-inning masterpiece because I thought, I said after the game, look, we knew what it cost ECU in terms of the pitching, which we'll get into, but just from a pure baseball fan, baseball game experience, like you cannot ask for a more dramatic, more incredible way to kick off the postseason. ECU's on ESPNU, a linear channel. With some eyeballs, you're playing Tennessee, which just won the national championship a few years ago, one of the premier programs of the last decade in college baseball, and just a phenomenal baseball game. I felt like ECU would go for it with Norby out of the pen. They went for it, and could have wrapped it up in the ninth. Henry Ford with the game-time home run on a 2-1 fastball. That pushes the game to extras. ECU looks like it's going to win it, obviously, in the ninth. Then they look like they're going to win it in the 13th with a go-ahead run on the suicide squeeze from Colby Wallace. And Tolick was dealing. Tennessee, credit them. They finally stayed on the splitter. They got a one-out double. That was followed by a CNI single. Way too many of those this weekend. We'll get to that. ECU's defense just not enough range. But either way, they tie it. ECU bounces back. I thought Walker Barron's home run wasn't even talked about enough, maybe because by the end of that inning, we had kind of forgotten about it because ECU had added on. But his response to Tennessee's response, and then ECU kept adding on against a decent Tennessee bullpen, ultimately win the game 7-3. But man, what just a masterpiece of a game. And we can talk about the ramifications of what it led to later in the weekend for ECU. But that game alone was worth making a regional for me. That was worth covering and just going through this at times exhausting season, Philip. That game alone, those moments were pretty special.
They were, man. Anytime you get to, play a 14-inning baseball game, a 14-inning baseball game that was rightfully earned to play 14 by the pitching staffs, right? Nobody wants to watch a 15 to 13, 14-inning game where you just feel like nobody can get it out, but where every run means so much, where it's 2-2 after 9, it's 3-3 after 12, I think it was, and then ended up eventually being 7-3. That's great baseball, and it was great baseball all around from both teams. And when you get to do that in a postseason, an opportunity to continue to play in the winner's bracket, that's why we love sports, is games like that. Obviously, you love it a little more when your team comes out victorious. So it worked out good for us. But no, the Walker Barron home run, I remember looking at Donnell when he hit it. And I was like, man, we know late in the season catchers struggle because they don't have the power, because their legs are done. But when the moment mattered most and the season was on the line, Walker Barron, who is exhausted, I know he is, he is, everybody knows he is, he's caught so many innings. He hit that ball over the screen, Steven. They had a screen that was about 30 feet high that was trying to keep home run balls in the ballpark. That ball went over the screen, and it wasn't close. I mean, that hit somebody's car, I'm guessing, in that parking lot back there. That's how far he hit that ball.
He crushed it, man. He absolutely crushed it, and just kind of I thought they were done. And credit to also Ethan Norby and Tolick, because how many times do you see the pitcher in those situations kind of give up the time to run, and then they let the momentum kind of crash down on top of them from the other team, and they fold. So I thought them being able to regather themselves and give ECU another chance was critical, and obviously played a role in the East Carolina 7-3 victory over Tennessee. Shores in the comment section says, yeah, quote, Friday's game was amazing to watch live. Whole family was locked in. Argue Ready says, quote, I will never forget walking by the bullpen after our Friday win over the Vols, and Towers was singing Rocky Top. So that's pretty awesome. Ryan Towers, for sure. One of the great personalities on this team. Tim Smith says, quote, the Friday game was a microcosm of the season, showed the fight this team has displayed through all of the injuries. Chuck in Charlotte says, I used to think that if we didn't go to Omaha, the season was a failure. Wrong. Look at other schools who have been there that didn't even make the tournament. LSU, Louisville, Vandy, South Carolina. So a lot of thoughts in the comments. We'll keep those going. So obviously ECU wins the Masterclass on Friday, and they go to Saturday. VCU, which lost to Carolina 8-0 in a pretty forgetful Friday night game. Worth noting, Carolina did not have to use really any of its go-to relievers because VCU was dominating so much in that game. But either way, VCU comes back the next day and eliminates Tennessee. They throw two of their better arms, Holbert, who had just a phenomenal outing, and their closer goes 3 innings. They win that game, 5-4, I think the final. Tennessee goes 0-2, and they're, the first team out of the whole tournament? I think them and Binghamton were like the first teams eliminated across the NCAA tournament. So it just goes to show, man, it's a crazy, crazy sport. And shout out to VCU for doing that. And then, of course, we get to the winner's bracket game Saturday night, and I thought it couldn't have started much better for ECU. Like, I knew Luke Payne, he's got good stuff. But the execution from pitch to pitch is hit or miss. Like, you're kind of just flipping a coin at this point. And I thought he made enough pitches when it mattered. ECU's offense jumped on DeCaro, had a phenomenal game plan on DeCaro. And I thought if they could just get through one more inning of Payne and turn it over to probably Joseph Webb or Marley, that they could have a shot to, probably get to Ethan Norby, and he'd probably throw the 8th or 9th. I think it'd be a lot to ask, but he was up in the pen at one point throwing. Unfortunately, that 3-run homer after whatever Forbes said to Heineck changed the game. It was supposed to be a fastball in. He missed out over the plate. 3-run shot to dead center, and that really turned the momentum of the game. Obviously, they bring in Glauber. McDuffie after that. Glauber was phenomenal. I thought he was the best pitcher in the regional. Should have made the all-regional team, but either way, that was the turning point. And then once he came in, UNC's offense had a great plan against Webb. They laid off the splitter and did some damage. And you just kind of ask yourself, what if you didn't have to extend Norby Friday? Maybe he's out there in the middle innings on Saturday.
Yeah. Like you said, the ramifications of the 14-inning game. And we saw it Saturday morning, and we saw it Saturday night. You can what-if this thing to death. You can what-if any big moment in sports history. But I don't have to say what-if about their heart. What if about the character of the team? A team that, look, I've questioned them this year, how much they hate to lose. I think you have to an extent too, Steven, maybe not as vocal as I have. A lot of people have, but they were down 7-3. And we were talking about in the press box, at what point on this do you punt? And they didn't give up. They kept fighting. Yeah, you didn't have maybe always the arms that you wanted. But right now, I don't know if we beat VCU. I mean, well, we probably do because we kick crap out of them. But you don't feel as good about beating VCU if Gavin Marley doesn't come in and do what he did. And yes, they lost the game, but his ability to come in there and eat as many innings as he did, and very effectively, I might add, was special. Like you said, Luke Payne, wish we could have maybe got one more inning out of him. But look, Luke Payne left the game in a tie baseball game. And if you told me that Luke Payne was going to throw 3 2/3 and leave the game in a tie game, I would have said, great. I feel like he's done his job. So I think he did his job. I mean, the guy made one bad pitch. Yeah, like you said, he's not extremely consistent, but he pitched out of jams earlier. He did what he had to do. He made one bad pitch. Credit to Hayek. Great players make you pay for your mistakes. He's a great player. It is what it is. That's baseball. And they went down fighting.
ECU loses that game 7-5, and there was a point in that 7th inning. I started to get flashbacks to when ECU walked off UVA in Charlottesville in the 2016 regional. You could feel the momentum turning. Obviously, Saverter had the 2-run triple. Glauber kind of lost it on the mound after that, fell behind 2-0, got a really good pitch to hit, Austin Irby did, and just missed it, hit it to deep center. If he could have pulled that, got a little bit out in front of it, you would have had a tie game. But he settled in after that. And obviously McDuffie came in, stranded the tying run at the plate, or struck out Colby Wallace to end the game. So ECU loses that. And then they come back on Sunday, and they do what they do. Look, Cliff Calvin post-game Saturday was like, look, man, we're not scared. We'll show up tomorrow ready to go. And like in true ECU fashion, it wasn't the prettiest thing early, but ECU just kind of grinded on VCU, ton of walks, finally cashing in late. Ethan Rose, phenomenal performance. Unbelievable 5 innings. You win that game 10-0. You force the winner, or the second rematch, or the first rematch with North Carolina in the postseason. And at that point, you just didn't have enough gas. Towers got squeezed, I thought, early. You had the Nick Parham errors. And maybe if Parham makes that play, things play out differently. You don't get the momentum early. And then, like Norby, I thought he wasn't sharp, but like his stuff looked fine. His command was just off. And I think, too, a lot of that had to do with Phillip. You had to bring him in, bases loaded, nobody out with the game on the line in the second inning, third inning. And like, there's no way that, I'm sure they planned to use him, but like they didn't want to bring him in that spot. So that also, credit North Carolina for putting the pressure on ECU, but like it just didn't work out in the early innings like ECU hoped.
No, you kind of shot yourself in the foot there. Like you said, though, I thought they squeezed Towers a little bit. I thought they were squeezing everybody on the outside part of the plate kind of all weekend. And that's where he was hitting a spot, was that outside corner. Now, that strikeout Linehan had in the first inning was about 4 inches below his knees, and the guy called it a strike. So there's that. But, I think, too, like you said, Norby, there were so many of those pitches, man. The Carolina guys were looking at him like, wow, that slider is gross. But he made 1 or 2 bad ones where he just didn't have the command. It started with hitting the first guy in the back. And at that point, man, it was just, when you're running on fumes, things have to go your way. And I think things didn't go our way, and we were on fumes. And I hate that Norby's career ended that way. Well, his college career ended that way. Obviously, he's got many years of baseball ahead of him. I hate it for any of the seniors, Webb. Credit to Jack Herring, man. I mean, what a baseball player. What a dude. What he's been to this team all year, to go out there putting life and limb on the line over there playing with a broken hand all weekend, and then to try his best when it mattered most. You just hate it for those guys, man. But look, like I said, when you're on fumes, when you're trying to force Game 7 and you're not the 1 seed, you gotta have crap go your way. It didn't go our way. And part of that, we put ourselves in those positions. But look, man, that's baseball. You gotta execute at every level against a team like that, and they didn't do it.
Look, North Carolina, they're an elite team, and one of the benefits of getting the 1 seed is playing a 4 seed. And VCU, while a very good 4 seed, did not play well on Friday. North Carolina jumped all over them. North Carolina barely had to use any energy to win the Friday game. They were set up well for Saturday, and then obviously holding off VCU, then they were set up even better for Sunday. So that is the benefit of playing well all year and getting a national seed. Now they get to host a Super. And for ECU, it came down to really that Saturday game, and they couldn't quite get enough. All right, let's get a break in. We'll come back. We'll focus more on the individual performances of the regional. We'll talk a little bit more about the Jack Herring situation, too. I'll share some thoughts on that. And just the all-regional team, Michael Kalinich, Jeff Sabater making that, as well as Braden Burris. So we'll talk on some of the individual performances. Keep your comments coming. This is Hoist the Colors, wrapping up the Chapel Hill Regional on a Monday. We'll be right back.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted.
Pirates play here.
Time to play the game!
This is Hoist the Colors with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. Second segment here. Hoist the Colors, recapping the Chapel Hill Regional. Great weekend in Chapel Hill, covering the regional. UNC advances to the Supers. ECU, the runner-up. For the 7th consecutive season, they make it to at least the regional final. Now, this is the 4th year in a row they've been regional runner-up, dating back to Charlottesville and then Greenville. They lost to Evansville, and then obviously last year to Coastal, this year to the UNC Tar Heels. Johnny Stats did say earlier, East Carolina is the only school in the nation that has won 2 or more regional games in each of the last 7 seasons. So, look, I know Omaha is the ultimate goal, but that is pretty dang cool as well. And ECU keeps on getting on the doorstep, and one day we'll break it down. All right, individual performances. I do want to hit on, I know that that Philip touched on Jack Herring. I do want to hit on that myself. Dude, like, just highly unfortunate situation, man. Your best hitter, like, this is just a microcosm of the season. Your best hitter going into your most important game of the season somehow breaks his hamate bone in the conference championship. We actually went back, Casey Ramaley and I, who will be on the show tomorrow, went back and watched his, I believe, third AB, where he fouled off the pitch, and you could see him like feeling it in his hand, but he stood in there, got a hit, and ended up Walker Bear ended up getting tossed to the plate. But just highly unfortunate situation, man, that he breaks his hamate bone on that pitch, stays in, finishes the conference championship, doesn't take a swing in BP all week long, still gives it a go, and you hate it for him, man. Senior, his own base streak ends at 67 games, I believe. Incredible streak regardless. And he'll always be remembered for going out as a Pirate, man. Just going out, doing what he could to help the team, even if he was hurting like crazy. So unfortunate, but also, like, that's just Jack Herring. So I also think, like, it's pretty cool that he didn't give a crap and still played through it. And I hope he gets a shot professionally. Individual performances. As a result of Jack Herring, Jeff Sabater was one of the stars of the regional. He had a triple, double, and single in the Saturday night game against North Carolina. Played well, obviously, the next day as well. Michael Kalinich, I don't know if he finished with a hit in his final AB, but he had, 6 hits in a row at one point on Sunday. He finished red hot as well. And then Braden Burris, I mean, my gosh, dude, Braden Burris did everything he could. 3 hits in the opener, 3 hits against North Carolina in the second game, along with 2 walks, 2 hits, a stolen base, as well against VCU. 2 hits and 4 at-bats in the finale against North Carolina. So 10 hits on the weekend, along with 3 walks. And what a dog. It's pretty clear that when Braden Burris gets into the postseason, Phillip, he takes his game to another level. So I thought those 3 gentlemen, there are others as well, but Ethan Rose, phenomenal start to give ECU a shot going into last night. But ton of heroes in the regional.
Yeah, Braden, man. Dude, Braden is just – he knows what it takes. You know, he's undersized. Therefore, I think his whole life he's had to scratch and claw to be great. I don't know. You know, he's got natural speed, and I think he's a decent baseball player. But I think Braden Burks' work ethic, attitude, and just willingness has got him to where he is. I think a lot of his success comes down to the human he is, not the body he was gifted. And man, he fought tooth and nail the whole time. You know, Kalinic, I know maybe didn't play as much this year as he wanted to, but down the stretch, he was phenomenal. It'd be great to have him back in the DH role next year. Probably not going to happen, but I think he wants to go somewhere probably that he can start. That's just my guess, but he did it when it mattered most. And then, you know, Jeff Sabater, dude, you know, plays so long in a D3 school, comes here. We're not sure about his role early in the season, not sure about his role late in the season even really. He played when he was asked to. I mean, hell, did he end up batting 400 on the season? It had to be darn close.
358.
358.
Yep.
No home runs, so he had to earn every bag he got. He was supposed to come in and be this pinch runner who could steal a bunch of bags. I think he was like 2 for 5 on the season. It didn't even go quite how he wanted to. But, you know, what's nice about those guys without power like that is they have to hit the ball where the pitcher pitches the ball. And Jeff Sabater's awareness to go the opposite way, to just take what the pitcher gives him, to not try and be a hero, is why he's such a good hitter. Because he just kind of slaps at the ball sometimes. Now, if it's inside part of the plate, he'll try and turn on it and pull it down the line hard. Anybody will. But he sees what the pitcher's trying to do to him. He knows where the defense is, and he finds ways to get on base. And it's just a mature style of hitting. It's a lost art of hitting. It's the way baseball was played in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And, man, I was so happy to have him on the team this year. It seemed like the team, talking to, you know, Val and to Dylan, you know, it seemed like a lot of the players, they said really, really liked Jeff, that he fit in very well, and I think he's really going to be missed.
Yeah, basically Lane Hoover. I mean, he reminded me of Lane Hoover in the postseason with the way he was just slapping it down both lines and doing his thing. So, yeah, and not everybody could play, but when Jeff played, he seemed to deliver more times than not. Johnny Stat says Kalinic in his last 6 games batted .600 with an on-base percentage of .652. And, yeah, I mean, look, Kalinic, here's the deal with Kalinic. And they started Bachman, and they started, Sabner was on the bench because Herring could swing right-handed. Now, it wasn't his full swing, but still, you want to put your senior leader, captain, in that spot. I get the argument, and it was a lefty-righty thing. Now, they did pinch hit Kalinic after 1 AB, and he doubled. I don't blame Cliff for playing the matchups. Look, they worked in Clearwater. They worked at FAU. So it's one of those things where I do like that Cliff quickly adjusted and went to Kalinic, and I don't think if Kalinic started, it makes that big of a difference over 1 AB, but who knows? I understand the conflict there with some fans not loving that. Look, I don't know about here's the thing with Kalinic. Kalinic can rake. I've always liked his bat, and I'm glad that he got the chance to get consistent ABs. But the defense behind the plate has to improve, whether he's back at ECU or somewhere else next year. Like, otherwise, he's just going to be a DH. And so I would love to see him learn to play first base because he's got the bat that profiles as a first base bat. Obviously, if he could catch it all with that bat, you could go a long way. But the catching, he has to improve a lot. Just talking to scouts to have a shot to stick at catching. And look, we've seen catchers improve a lot at ECU if they stay here and work diligently at it. But I just don't know if he continues here or not. But we'll see how it plays out. I have heard he does want to catch. But with the way he finished the season, maybe they can just work out something going forward. But who knows? We'll talk about the portal. I know we're getting a lot of questions on the portal. I want to use this show to focus more on the regional and the season as a whole. We'll got plenty of time to talk about the portal, players potentially entering the portal. So I'm going to hold those questions for today. I did want to also mention Davin Whitaker. He kind of got robbed of what would have been one of the biggest home runs in ECU postseason history. Like, obviously, it still was a critical home run. But if Henry Ford doesn't tie the game, how much do we remember the Davin Whitaker home run? Because that was such a clutch home run to lead off the top of the ninth in a huge moment then. And I just thought was a pretty awesome moment. He was running around the bases with his arms held, flashing the ECU as he crossed home, like just awesome college baseball stuff. Didn't get ejected for it, unlike some players across college baseball on this weekend for celebrating. But I thought that was a cool moment for Davin.
Dude, coming into the season, I think, Steven, I think we thought Davin was going to be a rotational piece.
Like a fifth outfielder.
Yeah. And, man, he plays with so much grit. And there was that time that Cliff came on the show and, it wasn't going well. I don't remember which week it was. It's been in the last month. And he spoke specifically about Davin Whitaker and Jack Herring and their attitude and their willingness to win and relentlessness and being bought in. And, yeah, I think Davin was one of the more bought-in dudes on this roster. And, dude redshirted his first year. He had, 10 ABs last year. The most memorable one was a walk-off home run, but it was a walk-off to make it a mercy rule where he clanked it off the right field foul pole on a random Saturday in conference play. And he kept his head in the right place, never got discouraged, and he's actually a pretty good outfielder. He's had some big hits. He gets on base consistently. He puts the ball in play, and he's above average out there. He's just a dude, man. He's probably not going to go play pro ball, but he's just a dude, and he's bought in, and, man, he brings the energy. There were some times this year I'm like, who brings the energy on this team? There'd be a Davin Whitaker home run, and the whole bench would be getting warned, not warmed, because of the attitude and the swagger Davin Whitaker has. Man, I don't know if this team would be where they are today they'd have made a regional without Davin Whitaker. Just not just from his play, but I think he was the hype man. He was the reason this team had any sort of juice.
There's no doubt. And look, at times he would kind of push the limits with the bat flip and saying stuff around the bases. But I like it, man. They needed some.
Nobody else on this team would.
Yeah, they needed some attitude, and Davin brought it. So. Critical breakout year for Davin Whitaker. There's no doubt about that. I did want to just hit on the Chapel Hill Regional as a whole, Philip. I thought from a media perspective, the hospitality, the operation, and the setup in Chapel Hill, they had food trucks. Everything right around the stadium was set up fan-friendly outside the stadium. The food trucks for fans who were waiting to get in potentially. As far as getting, waiting for tickets or in will call, they had the street leading in basically was food trucks and it was a shaded area. It was just really well put together. And then inside the stadium, I thought the concessions were well ran. Obviously, the hospitality and the media everything was clear. I didn't have a single problem. We had multiple interns and photographers on our end arriving either right at the game when it was starting or middle of the day between games on not before the first game. And I just thought the whole operation from the UNC media folks down was first class. The best regional I've ever attended as far as media coverage, access, functionality. And I say all that to say ECU does a tremendous job running this regionals, but I do hope our administration was there because I think any administration could learn a lot from the operation that UNC put on from start to finish.
Yeah, so first off, the food truck area was just awesome. I was walking through there 10 a.m. on Friday morning. I was like, dang, I want to stop and get a beer. Just not only because it looked good, but just the atmosphere that was there. It's this is going to be awesome for people to hang out, especially between games. That's how you maximize profit right there. That is a nice logistical and marketing, just maximizing your profit. The staff, man, the people who were wearing pink shirts on Friday and Sunday and the neon on Saturday, every single one of them could answer any question you had, or if not, they knew who to find it from. I think what helped out is their staff there is employed by Carolina. A lot of places, it's a company that's contracted out. They're not really, they know what they're supposed to do, but they're not really in with the university. So, they don't take as much pride in it because they don't have the logo on their chest. These people did, and I was speaking with one of the ladies at lunch on Saturday and speaking with her about the how well they ran it. And she said, they get emails every day throughout any game day season, and it is sectioned off in blocks. It is their upper administration who runs that. It's not the athletic director side of things, but the people who are in charge of them are so well organized and are so precise about how every little detail is done correctly so that it's the best experience for the fans, for the media, for anyone who's in attendance. And man, that was Class A. I knew where to go, and when I didn't, people guided me places, walked with me. You mentioned the media relations team. They had an intern working the tent, Stephen. When I showed up to get my credential, she knew exactly every single thing, where to go, who to talk to, could describe what a person looked like if I was looking for them. I mean, and this was an intern, right? She looked like she was like right at 18 or 19. This girl's probably a freshman or sophomore and knew everything. I mean, it was just well put together. Everybody was friendly. I mean, that's how you get people to want to come to your ballpark right there, is you do stuff like that.
100%. They nailed it, man. And look, I mean, I did hear a few condescending remarks on Sunday about ECU fans that ticked me off a little bit. But, that comes with the territory. Outside of that, I didn't have a single negative experience all weekend. And, Scott in the comments says, I don't like giving UNC credit, but that was one of the most well-run sporting events I've ever been to. And I agree. I mean, they nailed it, man. So props to them. And when I would go back to cover regional that ECU wasn't even playing them.
And I told the lady, how nice they were and how organized they were. And she goes, thank you. I appreciate that. I said, that's coming from a guy who grew up a Duke fan. I'm the same way. I do not give Carolina credit for anything. I hate Carolina. I hated watching ECU lose. I really hated watching Carolina win yesterday. So that's how you know it was good.
No doubt. I was still ready to get the heck out of there when the Pirates lost. So I'm like, I've enjoyed my time here, but I was like, I got to get out of here before I start saying mean things. But no, first class event in Chapel Hill this weekend. All right, when we come back, we'll switch gears more, look at the season as a whole. Obviously, a great postseason run for the Pirates, but there were still major flaws with this team. And some of those flaws we saw come back to bite ECU in the biggest moment yesterday. So we'll get into all of that and more. Segment 3 on the way.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
In Eastern North Carolina, people appreciate things that are straightforward, honest, and dependable. For decades, our team has focused on cutting through insurance complexity for the communities we serve. And now, we're bringing that same mindset to our name. We're Flatlands Insurance Group, a simpler name that reflects the same local team, the same values, and the same commitment to the great communities we feel blessed to be a part of. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world is covered.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
We're live with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game. Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
All right, segment 3, Hoist the Colors. We'll move on and talk about the season and more so as a whole. We'll dive more into this in the coming weeks as well as we talk about off-season needs, but we'll just kind of hit it from a broad scope today, talk about some of the bigger things. And look, you can't talk about the 2026 ECU baseball season without first, in my opinion, talking about the injuries. And no, the injuries alone aren't the reason ECU didn't make it to the next round, nor the reason they didn't have, nor the only reason I should say they didn't have the season they wanted to have during the regular season. But they certainly played a vital role. Just from the standpoint of, let's not even talk about the position players. Gavin Van Kempen and Colby Weber, 2 weekend starters, go down really early in the season. Then you lose Sean Jenkins towards the latter half of the season. Just to compare this, that would be like North Carolina losing Jason DeCaro, Glauber, or Ryan Lynch. Basically, Jason DeCaro, Ryan Lynch, and one of their stud relievers, McDuffie or Glauber. And if you take those 3 premium arms out of their pitching staff this weekend or during the regular season, how much different does their season play out? So just kind of give you some comparison there. That's not even talking about the position player side. You lost Alex Peltier for the season. Braxton Trammell, who, by the way, I watched him take BP during this regional, and it's BP. It doesn't guarantee anything, but the dude has immense power. It's just different. If you could see it, you'd know. But you lose him for the season. Switch hitting, power, infielder, could play multiple positions. You lose Jack Vogeley. Hakame dealt with injuries. There's others that I'm forgetting. Lashley was kind of hampered by an injury all year. And, that's not even to mention Nick Moran, who couldn't really pitch due to his shoulder injury. Thomas Paxton missed most of the season with a shoulder injury. And, you just had ailments up and down.
Antolik was never healthy.
Yeah, Antolik, who we saw in the regional. Imagine that guy fully healthy all year. And I don't know if you can count on that going forward, Philip, but, with the hip, if he didn't have the hip issues, that's a guy who could be a Friday night ace with his stuff. So, this team was shredded by injuries, bottom line. Now, I don't know if there needs to be a conversation on, why this keeps happening. I'm not a medical expert. I don't know. But, clearly ECU, for whatever reason, has an injury bug problem. But even going beyond that, that's a factor, and I'll let you touch on that in a minute, Philip. This team still had flaws. Even if you had Trammell in there, if you had Vogeley hitting for power, the bats just don't strike fear in you if you're the opposition. And ECU has to find a way to produce more power. Now, part of this, I can't really blame the coaching staff. Maybe there is a reason why these guys regressed from a power hitting perspective. But last year, Philip, you got 22 combined home runs from your first baseman and third baseman, Austin Irby and Colby Wallace. This year, they combined for 6. You just can't. Even if you expect some regression, you cannot expect that regression. If anything, you would think they maybe improve. So, I don't know why that happened, how that happened. Wallace did hit for a better average, more doubles, but his power basically vanished. And then Austin Irby, we know he went through a sophomore slump. And then the biggest issue that has plagued ECU for years, shortstop, man. Shortstop position has been an ongoing issue with consistency and performance. Last year, ECU had Alex Boucher play basically the entire year at shortstop and then was benched for the postseason run. They moved Dixon Williams over to shortstop Dixon's a great player, not really a shortstop, did his best. This year, it was Lashley. It was Parham. Parham is doing his best. I don't even blame Nick Parham. But you can't expect to reach your goal with that talent at shortstop. To me, Parham is a fine infielder. He's a fine backup infielder. But he doesn't need to be your starting shortstop. It beat ECU last night. And it's the second straight year. And really, if you look back, the biggest issue with ECU baseball has been the instability and the inconsistency at shortstop. They have got to find a way to get this fixed going forward. So those are my biggest things that hurt ECU baseball in 2026 as we look back from a broad perspective. Anything to add, Philip?
Yeah, look, I get what you're saying. It's frustrating, but I think we are forgetting one crucial thing in this. They recruited a really good shortstop. Parker Bird was supposed to be the starting shortstop for ECU for 3 or 4 years.
But I will say it's been 4 years now. You got to be able to pivot at some point. Is my argument.
You do. And honestly, the best years probably of the last few years was actually probably his first year here. Because, Shaq actually was good that year. I mean, Shaq was decent for a guy who was, again, supposed to be a backup. He's been the best one we've had recently.
He's not a shortstop either.
He's not. But, man, he did what he had to do out there. Zach played, more short or probably third than he did short. He was solid at short, but clearly he's not an infielder either because, really, he was a good infielder, but, heck, he's in the majors right now and he ain't playing the infield. So, actually, yesterday he wasn't doing much pitching either. That was rough. He let up 7 runs yesterday in 1 inning, but we won't get into that. Anyways, so, when was the last, really consistent shortstop? I think it was before I got here, Steven.
Turner Brown, I would say, is the most consistent shortstop they've had. And, I love Turner to death, and he was a good above-average shortstop, but he was not a great shortstop. ECU just hasn't had a great shortstop the whole Cliff Godwin era. And look, I will say this. It is very hard to find a shortstop with great range, great glove work that can also hit the baseball. Those guys it's a premium position. So I get it. It's not easy.
Yeah, but we keep having 5-tool center fielders.
You're right. And you would think eventually you could hit on a shortstop. So I don't know. It's just been, we'll talk more about it on the Bucks on the Pond podcast tonight, but it has been a problem. Hakame was brought in. I remember when he was recruited, he told me he was going to get the chance to play shortstop. He never really did. I guess Braden Burris, they just don't think he has the arm to play it. He certainly has the range. But there were so many CNI singles yesterday and this whole weekend that I felt like an above-average infield could have at least knocked down that ECU did not knock down. You add that on top of the pitching injuries, and I just feel like, first off, AK and his pitching staff, Jake Agnos' company, did a phenomenal job navigating the hand they were dealt. But they have just got to figure out a way to fix the shortstop issue. That's my biggest concern going into the offseason. I know they're bringing in 3 infielders in this class. I think maybe one of those freshmen can step up, but. Even if you have to take the money you spent on Ethan Norby and some of these premium pitchers to go get a legit shortstop, maybe it's time to look at doing that.
I said in the press box yesterday, I'm going to say it again, get Mary Catherine Scott a 5th year of eligibility and pay off Shane Winkler to give her to the baseball team. I don't know. It's the best shortstop we've had in ECU since I've been here.
She, legit, she could play it. She could play it.
Yeah, she's got such
good
range.
She would do a phenomenal job. And she's got a cannon. She's probably... She would be the best shortstop on the team. Now she couldn't hit, but we would take the glove. If you haven't seen her play shortstop for ECU, you just got to see it. She's legit. But
she's got eligibility now. You missed your chance.
Yeah. But the injuries too. I know we got to get a break in. They were this team got shredded by injuries, and that is a fact, not an excuse.
Yeah, and you wonder, too, if Trammell and Colby are both healthy, can one of them play third and one of them play short? I think the one injury that maybe didn't cost us too much maybe was Peltier, and that's nothing against Peltier. It's just Davin was so damn good that, Davin made that injury not matter. But I think the Trammell injury, man, that's the one I keep looking back on.
Yeah, you missed the power. You missed the he could. I don't know if he has a range to play shortstop either. He's a bigger body. He's probably more of a second or third baseman, but
maybe Colby could have played it. Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have been great, but I would have taken Colby over Parham and then just put Trammell at third.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Colby for 3 or 4 games at shortstop, and it wasn't great, but nothing else was great. So
he would have got better.
Lashley, I still don't know if like this is healthy Lashley or Lashley's just got a lingering issue because his range, like the ball hit up the middle of the second base that Tennessee tied the game. Like if Burris was playing second, he knocks that ball down. So I don't know, man. It's hard to put a finger on, but it's been an ongoing issue. All right, we got to get our final break in. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show after this.
The power of savings is yours at Greenville Toyota with powerful deals on our huge selection of new Toyotas, like a Camry, $229 a month, or the all-new RAV4, $279. Don't miss the power of savings at Greenville Toyota.
In Eastern North Carolina, hard work matters, and it always has. At Flatlands Insurance Group, we've been showing up for our neighbors since 1963, helping families and business owners navigate change, weather tough seasons, and keep moving forward. Decades later, our purpose hasn't changed: to help protect what you've poured your time and energy to, from your home to your health to whatever comes next. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world covered.
Need cash for a vacation? National Finance Company is here to help. For over 50 years, National Finance Company has been the small loan specialist with loans from $1,000 to $5,000 with low payments to meet your budget. We're in the business of getting you the cash you need today. Apply online for a loan at one of our convenient branch offices and get your money as fast as today. It's easy. Get the vacation cash you need. For extra cash, visit nfcmoney.com.
Your future is full of possibilities, and Pitt Community College can help you explore every option. You can earn a degree, learn a trade, transfer to a university, or launch a new career. We offer the support you need to succeed with flexible schedules, affordable tuition, and programs designed for the real world. Your path, your future, your college. Pitt Community College. Register now.
Visit Larry's Steakhouse for a tender, hand-cut certified Angus ribeye. Other entrees include perfectly seasoned pork chops, chicken or seafood favorites like shrimp, tuna, and salmon. Complement your meal with Larry's fresh 20-plus item salad bar, or enjoy it as an all-you-can-eat entree. Daily rotating favorites include meatloaf, chicken pastry, hamburger steak, spaghetti, pork chops, and more, all complemented with your favorite country sides. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, or our Sunday brunch, remember to support and eat local. Larry's Steakhouse.
The hunting and fishing event of the summer comes to the Greenville Convention Center, July 11th and 12th, bringing together the best hunting and fishing vendors, outfitters, and fishing experts, all under one roof. Special free events, including a mountain trout pond, indoor archery range, offshore fishing experience, interactive duck blind, and free seminars. Don't miss it. The Mid-Atlantic Hunting and Fishing Expo is July 11th and 12th.
With new Toyota trucks from $259 a month, you've got the power of savings at Greenville Toyota. Drive Tacoma's $259 a month or Tundra's only $399 a month at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Loyal and bold, we're the purple and golds.
Yo ho ho!
And we're back to hoist the colors with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. Final few minutes of the show. Philip Pilkington with us. Steve and I go here and wrapping things up. Spencer Scott in the chat says, are Colby Wallace and Walker Barron going to the draft or returning for the senior year? Well, I just don't, we'll see. I don't think Wallace as a really good third baseman defensively, but one that only hit one home run. I don't think he gets a ton of draft interest. I would expect him back. Again, you just never know, man. This time of year is crazy. Barron is an undersized catcher. Now, I will say defensively, he was incredible in the regional and the postseason run. Maybe somebody takes a flyer, but I would think overall his size is going to be a detriment to scouts as well. I would expect them back, Philip, but maybe they just want to move on and play pro ball for cheap. But I would think draft-wise, there's not a ton of high interest there.
Yes, Steven, so the draft's down to 20 rounds. That's something that they did a couple years ago when they cut 2 programs from each or 2 farm system teams from each program. So The draft used to be, 46, 48 rounds. It's down to 20.
40, yeah.
Yeah, so because of that, I think there's not a lot of interest. Could they go late? Sure. The thing is, man, with Walker, a lot of minor league teams keep 3 catchers, to kind of keep them off their feet. Not used to catching that long. That could help them. But, I think both these guys come back, get a degree, finish it out, and then probably do get, at least signed to a rookie ball team or something the following year, and probably play a year, maybe 2 of pro baseball, and then, join the real world like the rest of us. Well, maybe not me and you. We get paid to watch sports, but like the rest of everybody else listening.
No doubt. And hey, once they're free from the program, they're typically a lot better on air. So maybe they can join us in the media realm.
There we go.
As well. But we'll see, man. There's a lot of moving parts. I've tried to kind of look ahead to the 2027 roster. There are a ton of unknowns for me. I know there's a ton of unknowns, like with certain guys in the program. Those are exit meetings that will take place. The portal did open today, and it runs through June 30th. So we're going to get some more clarity on this stuff. We'll see what guys leave, what guys return, if they announce the returns like last year. So there's just a lot to work through. The good news is we got all of June to do it, and we got all of June to do radio shows as well. So we'll continue these discussions. We will have Bucks on the Pond tonight, recapping the 2026 ECU baseball season as well. Scott Lorbatcher, Jonathan Wagner, myself on the Hoist the Colors YouTube channel at 9 o'clock. So we'll see you then. Otherwise, we'll see you at 12 noon on Tuesday. Casey Normeli from Carolina Curveball, he'll be with us to recap the regionals and more. See you then.